Hello, 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 familia. Welcome, welcome. My name is MagdalineJanet. If you are new, welcome to the fam. Please don't forget to like and subscribe because we're always here having a good time. You come visit me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm there daily. And of course, welcome back to my oldies for goodies. Familia. So eyes are done, mascara and everything. I will upload a YouTube short. It's very similar to when I reviewed these palettes to the first look. So today I was thinking, I've been doing my makeup this way and I've been loving it. I kind of started when I reviewed the LA Girl concealers, like all of the concealers. I underpainted and I've just been loving it because I have a small face, you see. A lot of bronzer and blush just takes over. Doing it this way has really worked, and I want to share with you the flawless base I've been having the past like 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks? Or maybe a month. I don't know how long ago I filmed that video. It kind of changed the game for me. I don't know why in that particular instant I was like, it was the aha moment, but it was. So here we are. Skin is nice and prepped. I did all my skincare. I always put my skincare here up on the screen to let you know what I have on. I layer my skincare on. So I put my first essence, wait a couple of minutes to dry, then I go in with a serum, and I go in with my moisturizer, then my sunscreen and eye cream as well. I always wait 2 to 3 minutes and then follow up with the next. That's how you're gonna prep your skin very well for it to be ready for makeup, how we are right now. So first and foremost, we always gotta prime. You can choose whichever primers. I like to double prime because I do have oily skin. This primer, Elf's primer, is gonna help this makeup stick down, literally like that, like tape. I'm gonna press it in. You wanna press this because it's sticky. I find that pressing it in just works better. If you rub it in, I do find that it pulls your sunscreen and your face is gonna look white and you're gonna be like, what the heck is happening? That's happened to me, and it's because it's pulling that sunscreen. Always, I always say this, but you want to let this primer dry down. It's gonna help dry down because it's wet. The dry down also makes it stickier. Usually I wait for like 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, primer is a little sticky, but it's still wet. I do want to mention that I will start tagging all the products I use on here. You'll be seeing all the products as I'm doing my makeup and you're watching the video, you know? Sticky, yes. And today's gonna be like a teaching video because I'm like, I like teaching. So I'm like, if I can answer any question, I'm here. Second primer, I do have oily skin, and this is a mattifying primer. This is just gonna mattify the center of the face. You can put it on top of this one, which is what I always do. I always go with the sticky one first because it adheres to the skin first. Then I go with something either pore filling or a mattifying primer to mattify or pore fill this area because I do have big pores too. This primer is like damn near gone. I'm just gonna again press it in just to the T-zone right there. Oh wait, I have something here. Oh my god. We're gonna let this dry down a little bit more because this is still a little wet. So I'm gonna grab all my products and I'll be back. You know I'm never ready. Oh, just kidding, I am ready. No, I've been loving the Glotion, the Lumi Glotion from L'Oreal. Girl, you can use anyone. You can use the e.l.f., you can use whichever one you have, as long as you use something glowy. Yes, I have oily skin, but I'm gonna show you how it's gonna work so we don't look gastadas, okay? I like to add it here, like not too little, not too much, like this. And then what I've been doing, I've been grabbing it, going like this, and then just kind of pressing it here. I like to work a lot with my hands because the warmth of your hands really just spreads product very well and seamlessly, and you will have less demarcation lines. It's gonna just look already blended a lot faster. Yes, it's dirty, it's weird. Some people don't like it. I didn't like touching makeup for a really long time. I was like really grossed out about it. But you know what? For the makeup application to look good, you have to do things that you don't like sometimes. A little bit on my nose, not too much. I kind of concentrated right here and just press. I'm not big with rubbing back and forth. I'll do it sometimes accidentally, but it's really not my favorite way to do my makeup. I like to really press product in. We're gonna let this dry. I started using this Smashbox Healthy 4-in-1 pen in the shade T20N. I have an itch now. Oh my god, what is wrong with me today? I'm gonna do the process of underpainting. You want to use something that is not too liquidy, more on the creamy side. If you want to use like a stick, that works too. You could use a stick, something like this. I like this texture because it has a watery and creamy texture. It's like a perfect in between. If it's too watery, watery and liquidy, it's gonna just make it a mess, especially if you have a small face like me. Okay, so I'm gonna, you see, like a little bit goes a long way. So I'm gonna add here, way at the top, because when I blend it, it's gonna come down right here. This does not have to be neat. This could look however you want it to look. I do find too that this is such a fast way to do your makeup once you get the hang of it. It took me a little bit to get the hang of it. The same thing with the blush. I've been loving this one, but I use Rare Beauty all the time. I'm gonna use this LA Girl one, and I'm gonna show you this texture. It's like a cream. You want to use a cream. With my finger again, so I'm just gonna tap, 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 tap. We're trusting the process. At the same exact time, we're about to color correct. This is the light yellow LA Girl. This texture is not too cream, it's not too liquidy, I mean. We want something like in between. And then when you're like, dang, this is how I should look, we're good to go. Hold on, my seat. Another reason I've been liking this, any mistake you do, it can be covered up a lot faster and a lot easier than doing it the other ways. I like to start blending with a brush. The way I do this, I'm going to use a brush and a sponge. The brush is always going to help you control the product. And I'm doing tapping motion. Start blending them separately. So bronzer with bronzer, blush with blush. You can mix and match. You can do it with the sponge. You could do it however works best for you and is easiest for you, especially if you're like on the go. You know how like in a few videos I'm like, wait, do you blend, do we not when we underpaint? Because you know I was all confused. So yeah, I've been blending. I have to take into account my face shape because, oh my god, I forgot the bottom here. Because I have a small face, I can't be doing all that extra stuff that like I can't just leave things like that because it can easily take over my face and then it's gonna look like I have too much makeup on and the makeup's like overwhelming on my face, and it's just because I didn't blend. Okay, you know, it be like that sometimes. Okay, right? So what I've been kind of doing lately is cleaning this up with like a paper towel, the same brush, so I'm not using all kinds of brushes. Start blending out the blush. This underpainting really became popular this year, but I had seen a few makeup artists that do this. I feel like a lot more subtle than I'm looking right now, but it's okay. We're trusting the process, and it's the method of doing everything basically underneath your foundation. Found like, imagine this is how this would look on top of my foundation. I mean, not this dramatic, but you know, you get an idea. Look, I forgot to do my nose, so let me clean it up again. I just happen to have this makeup wipe, but I always have a paper towel just to clean things off. When it comes to my under eyes, that's when I change it up a little bit. And I promise you, you guys, anytime I've done my base like this the last week, especially because I've been out and about, I've been getting so many compliments on my base. I swear. We are going to blend out this with a sponge. Get any sponge you have. You want to be careful not mixing your blush and your concealer because that can happen. Especially my blush today is super high, but it's okay. Okay, we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna look like this, right? Oh, girl, why is this so patchy? Hold on. You know what it was? I think I used the brush wet. Oops. It's okay. If things are patchy, like I tell you all the time, just use your fingers. Any patch you see like those, it's not a really big deal because we're underpainting. If it happens, I always suggest to just blend out with your finger. Then I'm gonna go in with some concealer. I've been loving the House Labs concealer. Like, it's such a good concealer. So I'm going to go here. I put a lot on right here, like in the inner corner. And the reason being is because my inner corner is super dark. And I blend out with a sponge. The sponge will always sheer makeup out regardless. Put some here on my nose and here. Another thing about makeup, I feel like, I don't know, I don't hear that much about as I look real crazy. The way makeup is going to look flawless is by layering. And you're gonna have to do a lot of layers. One thin layer, it's gonna look nice for the first couple hours. Once your face warms up, even if you sweat, if it's hot, or if you're wearing your makeup for 12 hours, because it's so thin, it's just literally gonna disintegrate and disappear on your face. When you layer, things have like hold. It has something to adhere to throughout the day. Do you know what I'm saying? A concoction I've been loving is a full coverage foundation with a skin tint. I've also been using like the House Labs and the REM. I always use the House Labs, which is why I'm not going to use it today. Mixing, I find a full coverage or something that's very pigmented with a skin tint, it gives you the best of both worlds and it changes the texture a little bit and it just applies beautifully. I promise. A mix, you guys know I love to mix. I think mixing foundations, mixing concealers, it just really adds, it creates those layers that I was talking about where your makeup is gonna look bomb. I'm over here talking about bomb makeup looking like this. We're mixing. Now that you have all this going on, you don't need a lot of this. So I did keep my concealer there because I wanted to dry down a little bit. You always want to let your creams dry just so that it creates a little thicker texture. That also creates pigment. So when you have your like this, we're gonna mixy. What I've been doing that's been working is placing it with my finger like this, sort of stamping it on. We're gonna see magic right now. I kind of just place it kind of everywhere. Whatever remains, I am going to get my sponge. I'm going to grab a little bit. I work with clean sponges every day, but having a little bit of product on your sponge is going to help blend everything together. I'm not saying use a dirty sponge. Don't be using a dirty sponge, but a little something never hurt, okay? Now I'm gonna pressing motions, not like this. I'm staying away from the under eyes just so that that concealer remains dry, like drying down. I mean, I hope it's not too dry down, but you know, things happen. Tap. I find that with the sponge, I like this process better than a brush. So now we're just like gonna really press this in. You want to press that foundation in everywhere. Because we went underneath, you don't want anything sort of peeking out that shouldn't be, which is why we just want to make sure we get all the areas. So I'm going to tap here. I'm going to tap there. Now I'll start working in the concealer. The concealer, I'm going to use the other end. I'm going to squeeze it and just start tapping it as such. All the product I sort of front loaded here, I'm going to spread it. And this right now is when we're like, okay, let's evaluate and see what we got going on. Here you can see those patches. So I'm at a little more foundation. Foundation, it's kind of like something that not erases, but just does a little bit of a cover up. You know what I'm saying? So if something underneath is not looking, you know, as you like it, the foundation is going to come and sort of, you know, erase it. We're going to again tap. Typically, I don't go again with my foundation, but I kind of messed up because I used that wet brush. Of course, anytime like I'm filming, I'll mess up, but then when I'm doing it the 500 other times, it's flawless. You get the gist. Things are not perfect too. One thing about me, I know I'm not perfect, so I won't ever like front like I am, you know. I mean, sometimes I do have a good perfect makeup day, you know, and sometimes I sure don't. Okay, you see now. And you're like, what's the point, Magdalene? I can't see the blush or the bronzer. It's subtle. It's subtle. When you add everything else, that's when it comes out to shine. So I'm gonna get a little more concealer. I like a lot of concealer. I know people are like, don't use a lot of concealer. It's creasy, blah, blah, blah. But for me, it works. Because I layer on so much, it works. And I use a sponge. I wouldn't use this much concealer if I was using a brush. Another game-changing hack that I find is powders. Powders, well no, we talk about powders all the time here. But powders is a game changer. Powders will elevate your makeup or make it look worse. That's just how it is. Something that makes my makeup really look nice is using two setting powders, two different color setting powders. I mean, you can mix and match, you know, I'm all about that. Using a light setting powder for my under eyes and then something closer to my skin tone for my skin. Girl, I honestly started doing this accidentally. I don't know how I started using this very light powder from Maybelline, but it worked really well. I use the shade 5. I've used the shade 10 too. That one works also. But the trick about this one is you don't want it to sit and bake for too long because then it's going to be way too white. Especially if you're my skin tone. You have to dab it and then dab it off. I'm gonna show you. Let me show you. Talking about dabbing, I'm gonna do that so I don't forget. Another reason I use a light setting powder on my under eyes is because setting powders can darken up your concealer. Even if you're wearing like a light concealer or your concealer is all blended out looking all cute, a powder will mess that thing up so quick, and I've been there, done that, you know? You wanna blend your concealer out. You wanna make sure everything looks good. You see, I see the little blush popping through, the contour popping through. That's what I want, right? So I'm going to get my powder puff. I am going to squeeze the powder so it looks like this and it applies evenly into the under eye area. So I'm blending out, I'm blending out. I'm gonna look straight ahead and then look quickly up. Straight ahead and then quickly up. I love a bright under eye because I do have a lot of darkness. I do find that a lighter setting powder can also brighten. So instead of you using a liquid brightening concealer, I brighten with powders. Powders, I love powders. We already know I love powders. And then if you have dry skin, I recommend this Hourglass powder. It is very finely milled. It is so beautiful on the skin. Because I have oily skin, I do notice that I am a lot oilier at the end of the day or even midday. I don't mind it if I'm wearing my makeup for 6-7 hours, but if I'm wearing it for a 10+ hour day, I want a matte powder. I don't touch up my makeup throughout the day. Like however I leave the house is how I leave the house. Patrick Star powder, like I just put a bunch here and then it'll last me like a bunch of uses instead of me just always have another itch. Just me always going back. So I'm gonna get the one size in the shade Sweet Honey. I'm gonna even it out, you know, go like this. I'm setting those laugh lines again. Now I'm gonna start moving up into the under eye area as I set my face. Also, powder will change the colors. If you saw those spots, you know how I had those little spots? This powder will smooth those spots out because again, it's another layer onto your makeup. And then I'm gonna start removing this bake. I'm gonna remove some of this bake. You see how this powder is already mixed in? So we're trying to create a nice gradient. My under eyes to my skin. You don't have to use 2 setting powders. You can use one, but if you're gonna use one for your under eyes, make sure it's a little bit lighter just so that you have a highlighted look. And then when you're in daylight, it doesn't look super dark. Ooh. You see, look, flawless base here. It's the powder for me. Oh my God, I just bit myself. And this typically doesn't take me too long to do. Yes, there's like a bunch of steps. Once you get your base down, you'll know what to do and how to do it, and you can get it done quickly. I'm not saying 5 minutes quick, but I'm saying a good amount of time for you, especially because you know your face the best. You know what works, what doesn't. This is how we're looking, right? Let me show you. Let's turn off the light so you can see what I'm talking about. Do you see any funky business that we started off with? No, only my eyeliner needs to be fixed. Look, my computer's going off. Hold on. You see? You see? Under eyes. Let's look up. Looking good. So bronzer, I love this Maybelline bronzer. You can use any bronzer. Now that we have everything underneath, I do find that I use less bronzer and I don't really need to blend too much. I'm just kind of placing, you see I already have a little bit of bronzer showing through. I should have covered that with foundation, but it's okay. You just kind of tap, tap, tap. You're gonna go as heavy or as light as you want it. You can probably skip bronzer and just put blush if you don't want it, since you already have it underneath. It all depends what you like, what works for you, how much time you have, how glam you want to be. You know, sometimes we just want like our ojeras to be gone or our skin to be even. What is this over here? Hold on. It just really depends the day. Even the nose, like I'm just gonna pinch this. Bronzer right here is just one of my favorites. It released this year. You see, that's it. You don't need too much. The best blush that released this year is L'Oreal, hands down. I just love it. I hope they come out with more shades. They have 4 shades. The pigment on this, look at this. This is way too much. We're gonna do this number. I'm just gonna press it here, press it here. You don't have to do a lot because we already have it underneath and it's gonna shine through. And then now I'm gonna get some of my setting powder, cut the cheeks. This is just gonna do a little bit of a lineup for us, a little bit of a cleanup. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, if you're like already in a rush. Talking about flawless, this is like date night. This is like I'm going out with the girls. This is like I'm going out to an event. This is like I need my makeup to last all night long, all day long and night, still look good. This is that type of thing. I know you guys are always busy. You guys have lives, kids, school, work, life. Just life be lifing sometimes, you know? At this point, I just chill. Now I'm gonna press this powder out If you leave it too long, you may end up with like a line there. So just keep in mind that happened to me. Oh, multiple times. And another thing I like to do, because I do have oily skin, powders is my best friend. So I'm gonna get which one is this one? No, what's the shade? Oh my God, girl, why does everything fall here? I have like slippery hands or something. This is the shade 24P. I'm gonna get a fluffy brush. The fluffier the brush, the more spread out the product's gonna be, the less pigmented it's going to be. So we're just going to, do this number. We're like in the T-zone. I see, right? Let's add a little more blush. I always tell you, makeup is always like a back and forth. And it's fun. I'm loving this look because it's a flawless look. We want to look at every angle and see, are we looking good? Yeah. Is this good? Yeah. Spray from Rare Beauty. Something about it, it's not mattifying, but it's not like too wet. The nozzle spray is great. Oh, oops. This is the one I meant to use. It won't wet your face too much. I kind of been liking that lately. Powder puff, that's dry, but that has a little remnants of powder. When you press it in after setting powder, will fill any sort of pore that's peeking out, anything that's like looking funky. That's what it will do. Another tip is when you go with your spray, you press in, you can always go back with your bronzer and blush just to kind of add a little more umph. You can do that as long as you don't add too much because it will stick on. It will look a little intense. So you want to just lightly brush over and then you'll get a little more intensity because the skin's a little damp. And I typically will do this right after I spray. You can go with all your powders just lightly without dipping in again. Girl. You know I'm not a big highlight girl, but this Flawless Base has been calling for highlight, but a little bit, just a little bit. This Rare Beauty in Mesmerize, it's like the pinky shade. And I like the pinky shade because it's gonna go with the blush. So you're gonna add here. I kind of add a good amount, right? I just do this number. And then I'm like, wait, is it too highlighty? A little bit, right? You're going to get your blush brush and you're going to press that in. And it's also going to blend everything nicely together. Again, you can always get your powder puff that has a little bit of powder and just press like that. And look, let me show you. Okay, look, you see? Oh, let me comb my hair, do a lip, and then I'll be back. Oh, she's ready. I'm ready to go run my errands. It's early. It took me like an hour. That's not bad. Okay, skin is looking flawless. I'm just loving this whole method. I think it's perfect for if you want something quick, really lays well, and or if you have a small face like me, it's not gonna take over your face. I feel like the other way around, it can take over easily. This way, it takes over, but you hide it with the foundation, So look. Ooh, she's ready for the body. Oh my gosh, my peach fuzz is out of control, but we're gonna ignore that. What do you think? I love it. And it lasts all day. That's also what's important. You guys know we have oily skin here. We wear our makeup all day long. We're not trying to look gastada, and this is it. All these layers really help things just stay together. It's kind of like, when it's cold, you have to layer on clothing so you're not super cold. Like if you just go out with one sweater, that little thing ain't gonna do anything. So I feel like that's how it is with makeup. Even hair too. With my hair right now, this is like 7 days old, 7-day old hair, and look how snatched this pony is. Love it. Anyway, this is my lip combo. This is the combo I've been living for all week long, or maybe the last 2 weeks. LA Girl Chocolate Lip Liner. I've been using other lip liners, but this is the one. This is hitting. And then Creative lipstick from Rare, Mario lip gloss in caramel. I've been using Spice too, the shade Spice. What we think? You know what? Let me leave the house and I'm gonna show you the skin in the car because I think sunlight, like that direct sunlight's better. Okay, familia, I have to. Should I roll the window down on a busy street? This is how the skin looks. Oh, look how good it looks. You see this glow here? That's the glow lotion coming through. It's now been like close to 2 hours. The skin looks good. And we're not gonna look at stylish at the end of the day because we have all those layers going on. But oh, I love it. Okay, bye. Check-in time. Oh my god, the sun is bright right now. I'm doing a lip swatch video, so that's why I have another lip, but I have not touched the skin up. Look how beautiful it looks. I definitely have to touch up because you guys know we have the glow and highlight. If I were to have touched up 2 hours ago, I would have been not as radiant, but I don't look gastada. Like gastada, not here, because look, no breaking apart, no separation, nada. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And it's hot today. This flawless base is legit. It's like flawless. Flawless. Back to the outro. Bye. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like these types of teaching videos, technique videos, makeup advice videos? Let me know if you want to see more of these because I really like teaching and I just like chit-chatting and just relaxing. You know, kind of getting ready for the day too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending a little bit of your day with me. You mean the world to me. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, click the button right there. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.